Welcome to the whimsical realm of the Sisters of the Shire Podcast, where mirth and merriment meet the extraordinary world of J.R.R. Tolkien, or Tolkien. We are now covering the final chapter of the Silmarillion. The final chapter. If you're joining us for the first time, we suggest that you would probably want to start at the beginning instead. So just go on back and then listen to all those and catch up. Trust us, it'll make things a lot easier to understand because the Silmarillion can be a little rough going first time around. It'll be a lot easier to understand because that's what we do. We're here to explain things to you. We're here to be your guides.
I, Ashley, will tell the hobbit-sized version of the story to my cousin and lovely co-host, Abby.
Hello.
And together, we're going to help you remember all those pesky place names and every character beginning with the letter F, because, there's
so
like
many.
1,000 of them.
There's so many.
So many.
Our quest is to make it fun and easy to understand as we make our way through the world of the great J.R.R. Tolkien. Come join us, won't you?
Yay!
Now, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I should probably mention that my daughter is in a new musical play. I didn't really know about this growing up. There's a Narnia musical. There's a thing called the Narnia musical, and it's pretty adorable. Lizzie is one of the White Witch's reindeer that pulls her sleigh.
Which I said, Lizzie, I don't think you are a bad animal for helping the White because I know like everybody on her side is like a bad animal. But maybe she was just made to help the White Witch. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. She has shows like Thursday, Friday, and then 2 on Saturday. Like, it's a bit insane. And they start so late. They start at like 7:30.
Oh, and for little ones, that's late.
Yeah. And Lizzie is supposed to be asleep by 7:30, let alone just starting her night at 7:30. So
yeah,
she's been a bit of a party animal. That's the life of theater.
Yeah, she's a star now. Stars don't have bedtimes.
But it's really cute because she's there for one of the White Witch's songs about Turkish delight. And now she's singing it and acting like she's the White Witch, and she freezes people at home. And there's this one line that she says that she's starting to use that I'm a little concerned with, that she might be actually more evil than we thought. She goes, the White Witch is going back on her promise to Edmund to be, like a prince or a king, of Narnia. And she says, witches don't have to keep promises. They just have to make them. And Lizzie threw that in my face the other day.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, well played. Well played.
She was not supposed to be a role model for you.
I know. So that's been my week. How about your week?
It's been pretty good. My daughter's class, she's in first grade. She's been so excited because they are hatching baby chickens in her classroom. And they've been waiting, and one of them hatched during class yesterday, and so they got to watch it, and
cute.
It was so cute. She was she literally ran out of school to tell me when I picked her up, busted out of the front doors to come run and tell me. But the little chick, I guess this isn't a good thing, but it survived, so I guess whatever. But it went feet first out of its shell, it kicked its little feet out. It kicked its little feet out first, and it was still stuck in its shell. And so the kids thought it was really funny. And so when she was telling my husband and I, my husband's like, oh, he should be named Cluck Norris. Because he kicked his way out of the shell. But then Luna, being 7 years old, was like, who's that?
Who?
What is that? And so we had to show her who Chuck Norris was. So she got some indoctrination of Chuck Norris during breakfast this morning.
That's adorable. In other news, did you hear the news that we got another patron?
Yay! Yay! Kermit arms.
Kermit arms, yay!
Yeah.
So Krishane has become a elf friend of the Shire, and so I feel like this is just what we do now. We have to sing a song. And
wait, what's their name?
Krishane. And I'm pretty sure this is the last Malorn who I was able to do a little podcast with or Zoom interview with a while ago. Unfortunately, you couldn't be there because, life and such, but she's really, really nice.
Well, hello, nice friend.
Yeah. So, Christiane, welcome to the Elf Friends of the Shire. You can join Dan in the awesome corner. And, okay, you ready for the song?
Not the timeout corner. It's the awesome corner.
It's the awesome corner. Okay. So, same tune, but I worked on the lyrics, so hopefully it's a little better this time. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
And now a new patron joins our cause. Christiane, we welcome you with much applause. Like Dan, your support helps us so much. We're so thankful and deeply touched. Yay!
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Christiane, and thank you, Dan, for your continued support.
Thank you. And I would like to also apologize to Dan for my other song that I sang. I am a good singer. I'm going to put that out there.
She is a very good singer. Yes.
I am a good singer. I just don't do well with if I don't know the melody.
Improv. Yeah. She's not a good sight reader. We'll just...
Yeah.
But there weren't even notes to go with.
I know. It's just
you probably could have done it with notes.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I'm sure
thank you. It means a lot.
Okay, so are you ready for this episode? Because this is the last chapter of the Silmarillion. But I want to say this now. I really wanted to be able to have our last episode be next week. I really did. Finish our year birthday with the last episode, but this chapter just has so much and I don't want to rush it. So yes, it's not going to happen. I'm probably going to make this chapter into 3 episodes, not going to lie.
Oh, that's fine with me.
So, how much do you remember of the fall of Gondolin?
I remember...
So, Tuor and Veronwë make their way to Gondolin. They meet the warden of the gate, Ecthelion, who takes them in to Gondolin. Then...
There was a guy who betrayed everybody, right?
Maeglin.
Yes, because he was jealous of
Tuor
because he became everybody's favorite and he got the girl and he's like, who the heck? He just came here. Yeah. It reminds me of the scene from She Doesn't Even Go Here.
Mean Girls, yeah.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of feelings.
Yeah. That's the meme that I keep wanting to post when they talk about men and elves killing each other and not killing Morgoth. It's I just want everyone to love each
other. If there was an embodiment of you, Abby, it might be that quote.
Just be nice, please.
So Tuor, when he gets to Gondolin, though, he tells everyone about Ulmo's warning. You guys need to leave and not love the works of your hands so much. Gondolin, it might be pretty, but it has the curse of Mandos, unfortunately, still on it. So you guys should probably head out. But Turgon's like, that pretty city, it's mine. And he's like, I'm going to ignore that. But you, Tuor, I feel like I'll believe that part. You are the chosen one. But just in case, I guess I'll block up all the entrances so no one can, come in or out.
But then I trapped everyone inside when everything went crappy. And then everyone was dying and there was no way out. Except for Tuor's wife, right? She found a way out.
Right.
She had made
Earendil had a spidey sense that something was going to happen. And so she had a secret tunnel made.
And that helped a lot of people escape.
It did. So after living in Gondolin for 7 years, Tuor and Earendil get married. And they have a baby who we're going to actually talk a lot about today. His name is, and the narrator in Audible says it's so funny, Earendil. But I feel like Earendil is enough. But he said, he did make sure every vowel is in there. Earendil. I don't know. I'll try it. Which means sea lover. half elven. He has the light of the elves from his mother in his face and the strength of the line of men from his father.
Okay, but
And
you
like
never
his
really see a
father,
buff elf, you know?
I know.
I want to know what a
But
buff
like his
elf looks
father,
like.
he also has a connection to the sea. I don't think
Okay.
elves can get buff.
They're just slim
What?
models for their whole life. But they're super
Yes.
strong, which I don't understand that. Like, they don't build muscle mass. Well,
Well, like swimmers are strong. Their just muscles are just shaped differently than like a
yeah, but
wrestler or like a football player.
have you seen Michael Phelps? Like, he's big. Seen those neck
True.
muscles? They're huge.
One of those butterflies. Maeglin did betray Gondolin because he was out looking for metals past the borders of Gondolin where he wasn't supposed to be. He gets captured by the orcs, and Morgoth basically tortures him and gets him to betray the location of Gondolin in exchange for lordship of Gondolin and also the possession of Idril.
Ugh.
Blech. So it's been 7 years now. Earendil is now 7, and Gondolin is having a festival the night before the first day of summer. And basically, they're partying all night on the walls of Gondolin, just waiting for the sun to rise. But the light that they see isn't from the sun. It's basically all of Morgoth's forces of Balrogs and orcs and wolves and dragons. Oh my.
I feel like it's kind of
Fortunately,
like the scene in Narnia. They're at the stone table and it's like all the scary,
all the icky creatures.
all
Yeah.
the icky creatures.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Ecthelion dies fighting Gothmog, the Lord of Balrogs, but he does kill him in the process, which is something not a lot of elves had been able to do in the past. Garthmag. And then, unfortunately, King Turgon dies defending his people. Tuor sees the battle is lost. He tries to escape with Idril and Earendil, but Maeglin is holding them hostage. So Tuor and Maeglin have a fight, and Maeglin is thrown from the walls to his death.
He was a creepy kid. I didn't see a bright future with that one.
Yeah. So they all escape in Idril's secret tunnel, and they make their way through the mountains until they come to a narrow path where, of course, they are ambushed by orcs with a Balrog. A bad elf named Glorfindel fights them off and kills the Balrog until some eagles come and finish the orcs off, but sadly, Glorfindel does die in the process.
Okay, what we had explained before that we've heard that name before.
So Glorfindel is in The Lord of the Rings. He's actually the character that would be in the movie. When Arwen is first introduced, she catches up with Aragorn and the hobbits and helps Frodo get to Rivendell. Well, that's actually Glorfindel in the books.
That's what
And
I was going to say. I've heard that name before.
Right. And I think he might be in some other stories too. I'm not entirely sure, but I got a message from our friend Dan, and he's like, "It is the same Glorfindel. I've decided it so because he just respawns later, and then he's that character in the book." So
yeah,
I'll go with it. I like it.
His last save point,
Yes.
save checkpoint. He wakes up.
Yes. So Tuor, his family, the other survivors make their way south until they find a place to rest and heal from their traumatic journey. They have a memorial for the people they lost in Gondolin. And then Tuor and his family decide to go to the ocean. They join up with the refugees from Doriath, including Dior and Nimloth's daughter, Elwing, if you remember, is the holder of the Noglamir. They also meet up with Círdan the Shipwright's people and Turgon's brother Fingon's son, Gil-galad. And because Turgon has recently died, Gil-galad is the next in line for High King of the Noldor. Olmo is fed up with Morgoth and tries to ask the Valar for help, but they're like, nah, time's not right. I just started this cleanse and I got to stay home. I just
Did you
don't
have an
really want to go
appointment?
anywhere.
We book out like months in advance.
So almost like, fine, I'll just do what I can for my friends. So Tuor is starting to get old because remember, he's a mortal man and he wants to spend his last days on the sea. So he builds a boat and he and Idril set sail west. And most likely, from accounts, they go to Valinor, where Tuor is made an elf. He's no longer a mortal man because he's just so awesome.
Nice.
So that's basically where we left things.
And Baron is looking in the background like, what?
Yes.
What the heck?
What the heck? That was an option?
Yeah.
What more could I have done? I lost a freaking hand.
Okay. Sidebar. You posted a picture of Baron finding the Noglamir on the elf or the dwarf
Yes.
guy. It was like I don't know if it was like a painting or just like a digital drawing. Why? It's well done, but it made me laugh so much that it looked like he was holding the sword with this like nub arm.
Nub? Yes, I saw that too. I'm like, how? Why even have the arm up?
Oh, that made me laugh.
What's the
I was like,
point?
what is that?
Like, hey, remember me? I don't have a hand. Yeah, that's
really
just proof.
Show you that I don't have a hand.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that too, but I still had to post it because it was a cool picture.
It was. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, anyways, okay, so today we're going to learn about Earendil, the son of Tuor and Idril. Now, I don't know about you, but I was getting a bit confused with the timelines, and I think it's helpful to the visual learners out there or people with imaginations to help have ages with these people to kind of keep track of the vision in your brain.
Okay.
So just to kind of give you a bit of timelines here, I'm going to kind of throw out some times and ages along with the story today to kind of help keep track. So 503, Earendil is born in Gondolin. 510, with Earendil now being 7, that's when the fall of Gondolin happens.
Okay.
So we're back by the coast where the survivors from Gondolin have joined up with the survivors of Doriath. And a group of coastal elves led by Círdan the Shipwright are also nearby. They come and visit sometimes. And this place is referred to as the Mouths of Sirion, or sometimes the Havens, or the Haven of Sirion. It's basically where the river Sirion, which goes through Beleriand, empties into the sea.
Okay.
And this is where Tuor, Idril, and Earendil live for 14 years. So now in our timeline, it is 525. Earendil is now 22. And this is when Tuor and Idril leave Middle-earth. But also when Earendil gets married.
Oh.
And I think we all saw this coming. The main candidate for him there is, of course, Elwain. Dior and Nimlost's daughter, the holder of the Noglamir, Baron and Luthien's grandchild. I mean, sounds like she's a pretty good catch.
Yeah.
So they are married for 7 years. And I've noticed this a lot. There's a lot of 7s with this recent part of the story. 7 swans. Earendil was 7 when this act happened. They're married for 7 years. Tuor was living in Gondolin for 7 years before he proposes to Idril. Lots of 7s. And I kind of looked into it a bit. 7 is very important for mythology and even like Christianity and things like that. So just
interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, they are married for 7 years until we reach the year 532. Earendil is now 29, and this is when he becomes a father. Do you know the names of his children? They're twins.
Luke and Leia.
No.
I don't know.
Elros and Elrond.
My Elrond?
Your Elrond.
Yay!
So now we know the story behind his father and his grandfather, which is kind of cool.
So Elrond is human, part man.
Yes. Yeah.
How much? Like, what's the percentage?
Half.
He's half.
Because Tuor is full man and Earendil was full elf. Earendil, oh no, then he'd be a quarter.
Yeah, a quarter.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's do the math here. So Earendil is half and half, and Elwing is, hold on, like maybe an eighth at this point. Maiar from Luthien, or from Melian to Luthien.
And elf.
Got some elf in there and some man in there. He's got a mix of all of the things. So back to Earendil. He's an interesting character, but I'm not going to lie, I'm not sure if I would like him as a husband.
Okay.
The reason being is that, and I'm going to use some songs here because that's how my brain works. I feel like he's the sailor in that song Brandy, you know, the one from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yes.
Like, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. But my life, my lover, my lady is...
My love and my lady is the sea.
Yes. Because Earendil cannot stop thinking about the sea. Even after getting married, even after fathering Elrond and Elros, he just can't stop thinking about it.
Huh. You know, I don't really see the appeal myself, but...
Quote, yet Earendil could not rest, and his voyages about the shores of the Hitherlands eased not his unquiet. So he's just stir crazy whenever he's at home, and then all he wants to do is be out on the ocean.
He's a pirate.
He's a pirate.
He's got to go be on the sea.
Yes. But it wasn't exactly just the love for the sea or just this, like, stir craziness. He did have two goals in mind with these voyages. Quote, two purposes grew in his heart, blended as one in longing for the wide sea. So, like, yes, it was longing for the sea, but there were two goals in mind that just kind of happened to coincide with this longing.
Okay.
So his first goal was to find Tuor and Eärendil, which confuses me because I don't know why he would be looking for them unless they left and didn't happen to tell anyone where they were going or that they were never coming back.
Yeah.
Because as far as I understand, Tuor and Eärendil ended up in Valinor and can't really come
Maybe he
back.
just knows the stories and legends that no one can make it over there, like not human people. So he thinks that like they're just lost and he has to go find them.
Maybe. Which brings us to our second goal. Before Earendil dies, he wants to reach Valinor to make such a case for the elves and men, quote, that should move their, the Valar's, hearts to pity for the sorrows of Middle-earth.
Which I feel like they should be doing anyway.
Right.
But
So
I guess they had that meeting that they can't interfere.
Right. So I guess he's not, just out joyriding. He's not just avoiding his responsibilities. He does have something he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
They seem like they're pretty difficult goals to accomplish, but
pretty lofty goals.
Yeah. But still, he keeps trying. He even becomes good friends with Círdan, the shipwright, who helps him build an epic boat. Quote, Vingilot, the foam flower, fairest of the ships of song, golden were its oars and white its timbers, and its sails were as the argent or silvery white moon.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm assuming they mean golden as in painted golden, but golden oars would not do very well.
It'd be so hard to push.
It'd be so hard to row. And then if it fell over, well, that's dead. It's sunk to the bottom. Another oar, please. So Earendil has this pretty awesome new boat. So with him and 3 other buddies, they aren't exactly important enough to remember their names. Just remember he isn't quite all alone. Together, they go on all sorts of voyages that, of course, we don't get to hear about in this book, but it should be known that while Earendil is singing about his lady love the sea to Elwing, Elwing is singing to him more along the lines of my jolly sailor bold, which is, "My happiness attend him wherever he may go. From Tower Hill to Blackwall, I'll wander, weep, and moan, all for my jolly sailor until he sails back home."
Aw.
Because she didn't go with him on any of these voyages.
And they're gone for so long.
Yes. Quote, "And she sat in sorrow by the mouths of Sirion."
Oh.
Like, why didn't she go too? I don't understand.
Is she wearing a long cardigan and she's looking over the cliffs?
Yes.
Wistfully.
The wind whipping her hair.
Yes.
No, she needs that one guy like, "I need more flapping."
Yeah. She has a big, chunky, long cardigan on.
So I guess she didn't go because someone had to stay behind and actually be the leader for their people. And, maybe someone had to stay behind and raise, their sons. But
yeah. Jeez.
Someone's got to do it.
Did she turn into like a Mama Coco situation where she's like, "No boats, no one goes onto the sea. Your father left us for the stupid sea."
If she was a stronger person, maybe, but she's kind of just sad.
Oh man,
like she can't even look at the ocean without crying. I imagine. Oh my gosh, she's like Bella Swan after Edward leaves her. I can't listen to music. So, all the while on these voyages, not surprisingly, Earendil can't seem to find Tor and Idril, or Valinor for that matter.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Quote, "Defeated by shadows and enchantment, driven by repelling winds." So I just imagine like Monway kind of having fun with him on the ocean, being like, just like moving his boat around with his wind and being like, "I don't think so, buddy. I'm going to make the wind work against you now." Like just flicking the wind and making the boat move however he wants it to.
Yeah.
So eventually, Earendil is starting to miss Elwing. Finally. Plus, he's starting to have some, we'll call them nightmares.
Oh no.
Quote, "And his heart bade him haste, for a sudden fear had fallen on him out of dreams, and the winds that before he had striven with might, not now bear him back as swift as his desire." So now Monway's just messing with him, like, "Oh, you want to go that way now? Nope."
Yeah. He's just like literally spinning the boat around.
Yeah. So why do you think he's having fearful dreams? Maybe if he had checked home once in a while, maybe sent a message in a bottle or had maybe a flag system set up to check on things. But no, he didn't do any of that, which is unfortunate because Maedhros has just learned that Elwing, the daughter of that Dior and Nimloth couple that he and his brothers killed not too long ago, well, he just found out that Elwing lived through all that. And guess what? She has a Noglamir and is living by the mouths of Sirion.
Oh, yay.
Yay. So what do you think he's going to do with this information?
Is he going to go murder people?
Not yet. Quote, "He, repenting of the deeds in Doriath, withheld his hand." Like, you know what? I'm not proud of what happened in Doria. Some things went down I wasn't all on board with, but, so for now, I'm just going to let things be.
Okay.
But, quote, "In time, the knowledge of their oath unfulfilled returned to torment him and his brothers. And gathering from their wandering hunting paths, they sent messages to the havens of friendship and yet a stern demand."
It's like, "Oh, you found it. Give it back."
Yes.
Give it back right now.
So that devil on his shoulder, because I totally imagine it's the devil and the angel from Emperor's New Groove. It's like, "You're not going to let that, person get away with your Silmaril, are you?" Like, wait, no. He's got a point. We did make that stupid oath. We got to fulfill it. So he goes and look at it. So he gathers what brothers he still has, which at this point is just Maglor and Amrod and Amras, the twins. I do love that their first strategy is always to write a strongly worded letter. Like, maybe it'll work this time, guys.
To whom it may concern.
You're the slime between my toes. So it's actually not going to work this time because Elwing won't just hand over the jewel that her grandparents, Beren and Luthien, fought for, and that her mother, father, and brothers all died for.
Okay.
Plus,
'Cause, yeah.
Earendil, the guy who's supposed to be in charge and make all the decisions, well, he's still gone in that, out on the sea, being tossed this way and that by all Manwë's winds. So he's not around to make the decision. And lastly, these people have been through so much. Remember, these are all the survivors of all of the recent traumatic events we've had. Morgoth's forces took out Gondolin. The sons of Fëanor and the dwarves took out Doriath. Even Círdan's people nearby had been driven out from their coastal cities by orcs. So they're all just barely straggling, hanging on, and they've all survived. But the one thing that has seemed to give them all a sense of healing and peace was the presence of the Silmaril. Because remember, when Luthien wore it, the area kind of blossomed. It was like a magical gift of healing, in other words. And maybe it healed the area and maybe gave them like a plentiful harvest. Maybe it helped heal them of their trauma. I feel like these people kind of need it more than the sons of Fëanor.
Yeah.
So with all those reasons combined, Elwing's like, no, sons of Fëanor, you can't have it.
I guess they didn't take that very well.
Well, no. Quote, and so there came to pass the last and cruelest of the slayings of elf by elf. And that was the third of the great wrongs achieved by the accursed oath.
Oh my gosh.
So just keeping count, because this book is the first great wrong of the accursed oath was the kinslaying at Aqualande for the Teleri ships. And then the second was the kinslaying at Doriath that we just had with Dior and Nimloth. And now this. Are you ready?
Come on, people.
Are you ready for this?
No.
Quote, for the sons of Fëanor that yet lived came down suddenly upon the exiles of Gondolin and the remnant of Doriath and destroyed them. In that battle, some of their people, the people of the sons of Fëanor, that is, stood aside, and some few rebelled and were slain upon the other part, aiding Elwing against their own lords. For such was the sorrow and confusion in the hearts of the Eldar in those days. Like, this battle must have been crazy. Like, here come the armies of Maedhros, Maglor, Amrod, Amras, and we're just going to attack these fellow elves. And some of these soldiers just stand aside. Like, I imagine maybe they even like threw their swords down, refusing to fight. Like, no, this is wrong. And then some of these even braver ones start fighting on Elwing's side. Like, this must have just been pure chaos.
Yeah.
Quote, but Maedhros and Maglor won the day, though they alone remained thereafter of the sons of Fëanor. For both Amrod and Amros were slain.
So the twin
the twins
brothers
died. Yep.
So worth it, you guys? Huh? Is it worth it?
Mm-hmm. So remember, Círdan and Gil-galad, the new king of the Noldor, were living not too far away, and they came as soon as they could, but they didn't make it in time. The few survivors of the battle left to go live with Círdan and Gil-galad, but Elrond and Elros were taken captive. And from my research on this attack, this happened in the year 538, making Elrond and Elros 6 years old.
No.
Just like their mother. She was also 6 years old when she fled from Doriath. I mean, what are the odds? Speaking of their mother, it doesn't say a lot here about her role in the battle, what she saw, what she did. Maybe she saw her sons being taken. Maybe she did things to protect the Silmaril from the sons of Fëanor. But, quote, Elwing, with the Silmaril upon her breast, had cast herself into the sea. Thus, Maedhros and Maglor gained not the jewel, but it was not lost, for Ulmo bore up Elwing out of the waves, and he gave her the likeness of a great white bird, and upon her breast there shone as a star the Silmaril, as she flew over the water to seek Earendil, her beloved.
Oh, wow.
I feel like there were a variety of ways to handle that situation, Ulmo, but sure, let's make the woman a bird. Like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You could do that?
Cool.
So I really wish it gave us more details on how Elrond and Elros were taken captive, because, I mean, we all don't know how we're going to act when certain situations arise in the moment. You know, we can say we would do things differently, but we don't know until the situation arises. But I think you would be with me on this. I don't care if I'm a freaking bird now. I will go and peck out the eyes of the people that will take my child away from me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I find it weird that the first thing she does is to go find Earendil.
Yeah. Well,
But-
maybe she's like, wait,
I
is
need help.
Earendil alive still?
Yeah, he's just out on the ocean. He's been missing and voyaging for who knows how long.
Yeah. So maybe she feels like she can't do much as a bird. So she's like, come help me. Dang it. Come on.
Okay. Now, I can't think of this next moment as it's just comical in my eyes, because here we have Earendil and his shipmates. They're just sailing on the ocean. Maybe it's nighttime. The seas are quiet and calm, when all of a sudden, quote, Earendil at the helm of his ship saw her come towards him as a white cloud exceeding swift beneath the moon, as a star over the sea moving in strange course, a pale flame on wings of storm. Like, I mean, it's her first time being a bird. She's a little stressed and traumatized by recent events, so she's going to be flying a little crazy.
Yeah.
Quote, she fell from the air upon the timbers of Vingalot, which is Earendil's ship, in a swoon, nigh unto death for the urgency of her speed. And Earendil took her to his bosom.
Aw.
Like, this crazy bird flies towards your boat going as fast as it can. It literally passes out on the deck of your ship. And the first thing you do is hold it close to your chest.
You gave it a hug.
I'd be like, but I'd be afraid it would go like crazy the minute it like came to and like clawed my eyes out. But
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing he didn't do what I would do, because, quote, in the morning, with marveling eyes, he beheld his wife in her own form beside him, with her hair upon his face, and she slept.
Aw.
So he falls asleep, cuddling up to this crazy bird, and then, like some kind of acid dream, he wakes up, and instead of a bird, he's now cuddling up to his wife.
Maybe he knew. Maybe he just felt it.
But
That
the
bird's
funny
special.
image in my brain is what his shipmates were thinking.
It's been a
These
long
three
time
guys
at
are like,
sea.
what? I've seen a
It's been
lot
long
of
time
things,
out at
but
sea. He really just needed that hug, you know?
well, eventually she wakes up because, she's got some explaining to do. You were a bird 5 seconds ago. So she tells Earendil all that happened at the havens of Sirion, and that their sons were kidnapped, and she's really scared because she's worried, of course not without reason, that the sons of Fëanor are going to kill them. Because, remember what happened to Dior's sons? Those were her brothers that they killed and left in the forest to die.
Yeah.
So, of course, she's scared. But luckily, we know that the Sons of Fëanor didn't end up killing Elrond or Elros, or the Lord of the Rings books would have been very different. Maglor actually pitied the two boys, quote, and he cherished them, and love grew after between them, as little might be thought. But Maglor's heart was sick and weary with the burden of the dreadful oath.
Because it's not like they freaking learned their lesson before.
Nope.
Of like, hey,
Let's stop killing people.
stop doing that. What's that?
Yeah.
What's that meme or the video? It's like the sheriff or the head cop in like Florida or something, and he's like doing a press conference about the like murder crime rate, and he's like, what does he say? He's like, hey, let's calm down. Let's have a moon pie. Drink some 7-Up. Quit murdering people. That's what he's like. That's a real thing.
I need to find that immediately.
Yeah.
And make it a meme for the Sons of Fëanor.
Yeah. It's chill out.
That's amazing.
Drink a 7-Up. Eat a moon pie. Quit murdering people.
Well, it doesn't say here if Maedhros had a hand in this decision, or if he had a loving relationship with Elrond and Elros too. But I will say there is a lot of fan art out there of Maedhros and Maglor basically adopting Elrond and Elros. I'm sure Maedhros couldn't stand the thought of 2 more little boys dying by his actions. And together, I'm sure Maedhros and Maglor were just trying to fill the hole at the recent loss of their youngest brothers, Amrod and Amras, who were also twins. Like, they must have been just kind of like a familiar comfort to them.
Yeah. Like,
and
plus it's sad. They're just little boys.
Yeah. So anyways, back to Earendil and now normal form of Elwing. After hearing the news of his son's captivity and the horrible attack at the Havens by the Sons of Fëanor, he has had it with Middle-earth.
Well, yeah.
Like, he doesn't see anything to go back to. Quote, he saw now no hope left in the lands of Middle-earth, and he turned again in despair and came not home, but sought back once more to Valinor with Elwing at his side.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm done.
Yeah. Where'd all the good people go? Like,
yeah.
What is this world coming to? Not only do they need the help from the Valar to take care of Morgoth, but someone really needs to put those Sons of Fëanor in a timeout. And oh boy, I bet Tolkis would have loved to have done that.
And he's like bounding in like, doom.
Yes. So Earendil and Elwing are sailing around trying to find Valinor. And for some reason, Earendil is now wearing the Noglamir, and he's wearing it on his brow, which I'm assuming he's wearing it like a crown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bold fashion choice.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, they actually start to notice that the Silmaril gets brighter whenever they are headed west, like maybe in the direction of Valinor. Quote,
interesting.
And the wise have said that it was by reason of the power of that holy jewel that they came in time to waters that no vessels, save those of the Teleri, had known. And they came to the enchanted isles and escaped their enchantment. And they came into the shadowy seas and passed their shadow. And at last they cast anchor in the Bay of Eldamar, the first elf home on Valinor.
What?
They made it!
They made it. That's crazy.
And that's actually where I'm going to leave you today.
Well, I'm glad that there was some success.
Yes.
And some happiness.
Got one of those goals accomplished. Well, almost. Yes. Halfway there. Living on a prayer.
Whoa! Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Whoa! Oh my gosh, that needs to be like their theme song. And she turns into a bird. Whoa!
So, yeah.
Wow.
Next week, we're going to see what happens when they get to Valinor.
I'm glad that there's been some parents that have stepped up to help out poor orphan children, which are not technically orphaned because their parents are still alive.
Right.
Ditched? What is a ditched child?
Well,
their parents are still alive.
Technically, you can still give up your child for adoption.
Abandoned?
So kind of like, abandoned. Like every sad orphan movie we watch.
But you know what? Up. Elrond turned out to be pretty cool, so I guess his adopted parents are okay.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it kind of cool to learn his backstory?
I mean, it's a sad backstory, but
Yeah. But you also can kind of see now why, kind of like in the Rings of Power, he wasn't like, he was trying to get in on the top tier with everyone, but like when he wasn't allowed to be on the council or whatever, or he wasn't invited to that particular meeting, he's like, oh, I get it. Like,
yeah. Oh,
he wasn't quite.
Now you're making me love him even more.
I know.
No, I do love Elrond.
So?
Even through the books, he was my favorite. I know he doesn't have like a ton of like, instead of screen time, I'm going to call it page time. He doesn't have a ton of page time.
Sure.
But you can still feel his, oh, this is like an important person. Like, this is like,
right.
And then I'm really hoping Rings of Power speculation that they get into how he becomes such a fighter, like such a warrior defender person, because in the first season he's very like, I'm a student. I'm a college person. Yeah. I won't ask now, but he does have a twin brother, but you don't see the twin brother in anything else. So I'm waiting to hear what happens about that.
Yes, we'll learn more about that. Probably not in this chapter, but he will have, as you saw on the Rings of Power, if you remember, he has more of a role on Numenor.
Yes. Ooh, okay. Dogs. Well, thank you for teaching me.
Sorry, this one's a bit shorter, but like I said, this chapter just has so much in it and so much is happening. And this is the final chapter that he is tying all the stories together and giving everything their endings. So I just wanted to make sure we understood all the backstories of people and the places and, The goal is to make it understandable and yet fun. I mean, I gave you 2 theme songs for our characters today. What other podcast would do that?
I sang Bon Jovi. Come on.
And Brandy.
You're a fine girl. Wife you will be. My life, my love, and my lady is a sea.
Oh my gosh, Earendil totally could be. Oh, what's that guy's name? The actor. That's actually not a bad one.
No, it is Brandy because she had a necklace in the song, and then she has a necklace.
Link. What's that actor's name though? I feel like that's actually not a bad, because he even has like the cape.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I think so.
Ego.
Yes. I feel like that's actually not a bad image for the hair. It's the hair. That is very much an Earendil look, I believe, in my opinion. Okay, well, follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Join our Patreon and we will sing a song for you. There's lots of different tiers, from just being a friend and just being supportive, and another tier might get you a shout out for your business or for your own podcast, or you know what, we might even let you ask a question on the air or send you some merch, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of different options.
I'm actually going to talk to Ashley about that little meeting of merch details, but
for our birthday.
Ooh. We might get, guys, I was thinking about this. We'll have a meeting, Ashley, but to do a giveaway for our birthday.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did, for the people that listen on Spotify, which apparently is a lot of you, I did put a poll, and maybe Abby will do one on Instagram if she has a minute, for what we should do next. So vote
after meaning after the Silmarillion, what we should read next,
after we're done.
We should do next.
Yes. So there have been talks of watching the movies, and I would also probably include the Rings of Power show with that, and just kind of make all the links to all the things that we've learned. You know, when they talk about the Valar, like, oh, now we know who those people are now. Like, isn't that cool? And also there's been talk of the lost tales or the unfinished tales, the children of Hurin, the fall of Gondolin, Beren and Luthien, Fall of Numenor. There's a lot of different options out there, and we have our
That
own
means
thoughts, but we would
just
love
keep going forever. Yeah.
We would love to get your guys' opinions. So please vote when you see the opportunity.
Thank you. And thank you for teaching us today.
You're welcome. Well,
And-
until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.